good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to Twin Towns Library. My name is Sinead Noonan, and I'm the executive librarian here. And it's an absolute honour to have so many people here today to celebrate this amazing occasion, the launch of the Frances Browne Storytellers. So I just want to say thank you so much for all the efforts. I know some of you have come from a long distance to come here and join us, so I want to thank you all for coming. Just before I start, a little bit of housekeeping. Just let you know, the emergency exit is behind you there, just to your left. And if you want to use the bathroom, it's just through the main door into the library and across the hallway. And just to let you know as well, we are filming this and there are photos being taken. So just be aware that that's going on. If you're uncomfortable, just let us know. But we'd love to have, because there's a lot of people that today couldn't make it to the event, so we want them to be part of it with the filming. So we hope you enjoy the day. This project has been very close to my heart. When I first discovered Frances Browne, I was amazed at how a blind woman from right here in Stranorlar was able to overcome so many obstacles to become a celebrated writer that we know today. And to do it in the 19th century was just amazing. And it struck me the best way to honour her legacy was to give today's blind and vision-impaired writers the same opportunity to get their words and stories out there. What makes today so special is that it's not just the anthology itself, which is very special, but it is the people behind it. And I want to really pay tribute to all the writers that contributed to the anthology. As I said, they couldn't all be here today, but I know they'll be watching, and we'll be sending out the copies of the anthology to each of them. So I really want them to know that they have been part of something really, really special. And I'd like to really acknowledge all the writers here in the front row that have made all the journey to come here today. So thank you so much, because I know you've travelled from long distances. So thank you. And I want to give thanks to Isla McGuckin over here, who was a wonderful support on this project. She put her heart and soul into the anthology, which you'll see when you have it. I also want to thank Vision Ireland, who produced a Braille version of the anthology, which we have here. So if anyone can read Braille, they're more than welcome to come over and look at it. The Braille version you can borrow it as well if you want. And we have copies of the anthology to borrow as well in your library card. I also want to thank my colleagues in Donegal Libraries and the Culture Division who made all of this possible. And see you all here together in Frances Browne's hometown during the festival is just fantastic. So thank you so much. We'll be hearing from some wonderful speakers all this afternoon. So I won't keep you any longer. I want to first introduce you to Dahi Ramsey, who is the Creative Communities Engagement Officer for Donegal Culture Division, and whose support for securing the Creative Ireland funding was invaluable. So Dahi, I'd like to call you to the podium.
Thank you, Shay. Giadív is Misha Dahi. I'm the Creative Communities Engagement Officer for Creative Ireland and Donegal County Council. I'm delighted to be here for the launch of this anthology. This year in Donegal, Creative Ireland will spend around €300,000, and our mission is simple: to facilitate and encourage creative thinking and creative activities. It's a way of improving our health and well-being, and it's a way of bringing our communities together, of sharing experiences and to foster understanding. For me, stories are how I learned to navigate the world. As a wee neurodiverse child, I wouldn't necessarily pick up on every nuance, or maybe even sometimes obvious signs from other people. But when I read a story or a poem, it gave me insight into other people's lives, their thoughts and their experiences. It helped me to understand them and their lives better, and so to understand my world and my life better. It truly is a gift that writers give us, so I'd like to thank all of you who contributed to this anthology for your gift to us, and to Sinead and to Isla for bringing it to fruition, to Donna for proposing the project to the Creative Ireland team. And I'd also like to thank everyone involved in organising the Frances Browne Festival for all their hard work. I'd also like to congratulate the writers on the quality of the writing. It's not essential in our Creative Ireland work that the artistic outcome is as good as this, but it definitely is a nice bonus. Gurmaider.
Thank you very much, Dahi. So next up, I want to introduce you to Celine McGlynn. Celine is the chairperson of the Frances Browne Literary Festival and is really the person who inspired me to take an interest in Frances Browne. Celine's passion for Frances is infectious, and she has seen this festival go from strength to strength since 2021. It is her mission to ensure that Frances' works are never forgotten and that her legacy will live on for future generations. And I really do feel this anthology is part of that, and I'm delighted that the launch is part of the festival programme. So can I introduce you to Celine McGlynn, chairperson of the festival.
Thank you, Sinead. Like Dahi, I'm just so happy to be here as well today to celebrate the launch of Seeing Beyond Sight. And it really is a remarkable anthology, and I haven't read it all, but what I have read is, it really is, it's like storytelling at its finest, and that's what our festival is about. And as Sinead said, made possible by Donegal County Council, Creative Ireland, and the libraries, and also Sinead and Isla, who I met just at this very spot, at this very time last year for the first time. And Sinead, I met you shortly before that, just days before that. And to think that that something as special as this has come into the world it's more than we could hope for in the festival to have this. And just to thank all the participants from the blind and vision impaired community whose voices and stories are in this anthology. And it's Seeing Beyond Sight, it's more than a collection of writings, I think. It's just testament to the human spirit and the richness of diverse voices, like what Frances Browne did in her time. You know, you're bringing that as a reality to us now, today. And I just think that is so special, that we can actually understand Frances's trajectory, her career and her life more because of what you've done here. And it's like just the richness that diverse voices bring to a table, to a room, to a town, to a club, and in this case, to an anthology, cannot be overstated. Just want to thank everybody who has contributed, supported, and believed in this project. And my hope would be that we in the Frances Browne Literary Festival would continue to champion accessibility, creativity, and community through storytelling. So thank you all very much. It was an absolute pleasure, and I hope maybe to see you again sometime. Thank you, and I look forward to reading the book from cover to cover. It's fabulous. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sinead. So our next speaker is someone without whom this anthology just simply wouldn't exist in the way it does, and that is Isla McGuckin. She's a gifted writer and editor with whom many of you will already know her beautiful words. Her book, April's Garden, is fantastic. I would encourage you to take it out of the library the next time you're in your local library. For this project, Isla not only guided the editing of this collection, but also hosted the online writing sessions that took part to encourage and support the writers to contribute along the way. Her insight, her care, her dedication have really shaped this anthology into something that is really, truly special. And it's been a real privilege to work with you alongside her as she edited the anthology. So, and I know the writers would have felt the same from their sessions they would have done with Isla. She really is special. So please join me in welcoming Isla McGuckin to the podium.
Hi, this is not what we imagined when we had this conversation about a year ago. To be sitting or standing here now with a room full of these amazing writers and all these people celebrating these words is just beyond anything that we imagined. So thank you all so much. Most people call me Isla McGuckin. So unless you cross with me, call me Isla McGuckin. Working on this project has been rewarding, it's been meaningful, and it's been downright entertaining. Some of the stories are so funny, so definitely dive in and read them. Allow me one moment of tub thumping. 3 words: creative projects matter. I'm not going to say any more. There are so many people to thank. The Library Service and Sinead, thank you. The Frances Browne Festival and Celine, thank you. And Creative Ireland, whose funding made this possible, thank you. Thank you, Mary. I think she's at the back there, for the beautiful harp music. Mary mentioned something to me in the car on the way over, which I think was super special, that the music that she was playing was actually composed before Frances's time. So Frances may well have heard that music, which I think that put a little shiver down my spine. I thought that was lovely. And And okay, some of the writers who were involved in the anthology have gone to great lengths to get here today. Donegal's really hard to get to. And imagine, public transport and without, sight, it's incredible that the people joined us here today. So the warmest of welcomes to Margaret Kelly, Patrina Finn, Maura Nini, and Darylson Fongno. Thank you. Lovely, Gaiety. Okay, my hands are shaking. I didn't expect to feel this emotional. Our anthology is packed with top-notch writing from 15 top-notch writers. 2 creative writing groups are represented here too, the Irish Guide Dogs for the Blind and Hardliners. I'm going to mention the names of all the writers who were involved because they would have loved to be here, but it's extremely hard to get here. So thank you to Martin Kelly, Carmel Quinn, Patrina Finn, Gerda Archer, Eugene Hancock, Michael Hayes, Anne O'Brien, Dennis Fahey, Cian McAvoy, Lisa O'Donovan, Margaret Kelly, Geraldine Conway, Maura Meany, and John Pepper. That's everybody. I don't think I've missed anyone. So I would love to read a few short pieces. It was virtually impossible to pick pieces to read, but I thought I'll read excerpts from one of the short stories that we received, because the writer's here, and then there's 3 short poems, which I'll read now. Reflections Unseen by Margaret Kelly, who's sitting here. As I look into the mirror and wish that I could see an unfamiliar face looking back at me, for I haven't seen it lately, nor indeed for many years, so I smile a timid smile to cover up my fears, for aging is a process that etches a design and tells a life story written line by line. On turning from the mirror, with nothing there to see, a myriad of memories come rushing in on me. Some are luminescent, some foggy and unclear, reliving times of happiness, sorrows, and of fear. But the spirit is resilient, and it fans the flame of hope. And in God's design is written, you can surely cope. Could everybody give a round of applause to Margaret Kelly? Thank you so much. Tanda by Patrina Finn, who's sitting here at the front. This is lovely. I think about my tandem sitting still in the shed, a steal of a purchase from a generous stranger, hoping to introduce me to the sport of cycling. I think about the adventures my co-pilot and I will have as we roam through countryside, cycling roads less travelled to places of childhood memory and areas yet to be discovered. I think about my tandem partner, the trust I have in them to navigate us on our regular cycles together, building physical strength while calming the mind. But that is all I do, think about my tandem still sitting in the shed. Thank you. This is a piece called Mindful Morning Musings by Maura Meany, who's sitting here on front. Morning sun shatters shadows of the night, the world wrapped in warm embrace, a gentle breeze whispering through hair, turning strands to tousled dance, feeling each moment in the heartbeat of life. Basking in the rhythm of a new day, birds chirping in trees slowly shedding summer's leaves, scattered golds, yellows, auburn hues, caressing grassy verges, mini meadows of unkempt wilderness, nettle and dockleaf side by side, reminders of childhood rhyme. Lamppost gardens pour pretty pinks, purples, and snow-white flowers, flaunting beauty from on high, magically mingling with the bright blue sky. Smiling down as I pass by, a feast for the soul, balm to a restless heart. Cars purring engine song while whizzing by in the business of life. Dogs straining leash, yearning to be free, to run untethered curiosity in green grass beneath tall trees, discovering nature's mysteries. In this moment, it is the universe and I, watching, waiting, holding hope in this new dawn of possibilities, while the world weeps tasteless tears for wars that never cease. In this here and now, I find poetic peace in life's loveliness. That was beautiful. Thank you. We've gone from poetry to something fun and quirky here now. So, Gerald, this is an excerpt. To read the full story, you need to go to the anthology or to the link to the digital anthology. So this is Jimmy's Birthday Party Gone Wrong by Geraldine Conway, who's sitting here. This is something different, and it's an homage, a nod really to Frances, who was most famous for writing for children. I think children and adults alike would enjoy this fun story. Jimmy was really excited. Very soon, he was going to be 10 years old, the age when all young mice were allowed to have their first official birthday party and have all their friends and family there. It would be even more exciting, as it was just before Grandad Dan's 90th birthday. Guests were coming from as far away as the USA and New Zealand, and it looked like they would be here in time for his bash. Jimmy lived in a town in County Carlow with his older brother Jack and his parents Anne and Paul. They'd recently moved into a new shed in the side garden of a big house beside the golf club. The shed was fab. They'd made a lovely home there. It was dry, warm and clean, with lots of space and places to explore. But they had to be careful, as the owners of the house did not like mice. Imagine humans being afraid of small little mice. I'm going to have to leave it there. It's a really lovely story, but we don't have... I wish I could read the whole thing. But thank you so much. A round of applause. I'm going to finish my section with a poem from Lisa O'Donovan, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. But this poem sums up the spirit of the project and I think reminds us why we're all here today. So this is Lisa O'Donovan and the poem's to you, Frances Browne. Born in Stranorlar, Donegal, a small rural town, she was named after her mother, Frances Browne. With 11 brothers and sisters, she was the 7th in line, a big family indeed, as families were at that time. But Frances was different. She couldn't learn to read or write. This was due to smallpox, which robbed her of her sight. However, she was a curious, inquisitive child. She wanted to learn, her desire for knowledge running wild. She listened to her siblings' homework done after school. She learned everything by heart, making her memory a tool. Soon the bartering began with family, friends, and neighbours. They would read to her in exchange for chores, tasks, and favours. Before long, Frances became the narrator, the composer, the creator. Her boundless creativity, talent, ambition becoming greater and greater. From short stories to novels to poems, she wrote them all. With poverty, geographic isolation, lack of education, female, blind, she found her call. More than a hobby or a pastime, her work was popular and published. She was well known, the title, The Blind Poetess of Ulster, established. She moved from Donegal to Edinburgh to London, with her sister at her side. Her sister, Rebecca, acted as a reader, scribe, and guide. While her reader, scribe, and guide changed, her passion for writing did not. Her countless pieces are still being found and will never be forgot. Her work, Granny's Wonderful Chair, is one of the most famous. Translated and reprinted, Frances has gained literary celebrity status. She is an inspiration, a visionary, a shining example to people far and near. With such legacy and spirit, one thing is blatantly clear. She is deserving of more than a medal, a trophy, an award, or a crown. So in awe, we raise a glass to you, Frances Browne.
That's just so much. That's great. As you can see, we have a lot of talent. I'm just going to show you here on our website. So if you want to read any of the submissions or all the submissions that were given, it's on the Donegal Culture website, so donegalculture.ie, under projects and podcasts. And if you scroll down to the bottom here of the projects, you'll see the Frances Browne Storytellers are here. So we have all the writers and their submissions, and you can click on the link, and it can be read by a screen reader as well if you want. Okay, so they're all there. So I really would encourage you all to read them. They were fantastic pieces. It was really difficult to pick which ones would go into the actual physical booklet, we couldn't put them all in even though we really wanted to. So we wanted to make sure that everyone had access to these because they were so good. So make sure to, if you have a chance, to check those out. Okay, now it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who is Jennifer Doherty. Jennifer is an extraordinary adventurer from Buncrana whose courage and determination have inspired so many. Though blind since she was a baby, she has never let that hold her back. From climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, reaching Everest Base Camp, to becoming the first blind person to conquer Ireland's 7 summits, Jennifer has embraced challenges that most of us would only dream of. What strikes me most about Jennifer's story is how closely it reflects with the spirit of this anthology. Just as our writers have shared their creativity and imagination in the face of challenges, Jennifer has faced the world with resilience, bravery, and a refusal to be defined by limits. In that way, she stands as a living example of the courage that Frances Browne herself embodied. So please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Jennifer Doherty.
Perhaps it belongs I was Claudia. Like it connects.
Hello, thank you. It's really nice to be here. Thanks to Isla for inviting me. I'm not going to lie, I did not know a lot about Frances Browne before this started, so this has been educational for me as well. It's amazing to think that someone grew up in the time that she did, not being able to read, learning to read the right, and not have access to education, and then go on to write all the poetry and books and everything that she did, and stories, and move country and live independently and work, and it's amazing. I can't even imagine what that's like, because in my life, like today, as a blind person, we're so lucky. We have access to so many things. I've had access to education, classroom assistance, personal assistance, to help me in my day-to-day life. I've had access to work, great friends. I've met loads of people through being blind that I know I wouldn't have met. Being blind does have its advantages. It has lots of barriers, but there are lots of advantages. You get to have guide dogs and bring them everywhere and have a dog with you all the time. Great. I met loads of people. I heard a woman interviewed once, and she was vision-impaired, but her daughter was as well. And she said blindness to her was a shortcut to meeting decent people. And I just thought that's so brilliant, because you just meet all the best people, because you need help with things sometimes and people want to help. And I've always been really lucky. I've had great opportunities. I climbed mountains I wouldn't do if I could see, because I'd be terrified of it. Everybody would keep from my gazes to her. But I think, whether it's Frances Browne's time or now, everyone's the same, whether you have perfect eyesight or no sight, rubbish sight like me, or somewhere in between. Everyone has barriers and obstacles and things to overcome, but it's just about how you approach them and your mindset, and what way you look at things and choose to live your life, I suppose. And there are always ways around everything. So I'm really looking forward to reading these stories. It was so exciting for me to come in today and see a braille copy of the book, because that never happens. Like, such a small percentage of books are published in a format that we can read. Digital and technology and everything helps, but to get something in braille is very rare. So that was really impressive. So I'm looking forward to reading all the stories, and thanks again.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. That was great. Unfortunately, Councillor Martin Harley, who wanted to be here, he's the Cahirlock of Stranorlar ND. He called away at the last moment, so he couldn't be with us here today. But he wanted to pass on his apologies and to let everyone know how much he had been looking forward to joining us for the special launch. He has sent some words for the launch, and which my colleague Donna Kavanagh, who's a senior executive librarian, will now share on his behalf. So I'll call down to the podium.
Oh, it's gone. Laura Arde, about is it with your sheets? Memo. It's one of the sheets I left the first week out there.
Just on a personal note, from the library services point of view, feeling very inadequate today with all this creativity and bravery in the group, and that he had mentioned about the Creative Ireland Fund and us getting it for the library service. really all the hard work was done with Izzy and Sinead, who came up with a great idea. So they make my job a lot easier when I go to pitch for funding when they come up with such a fantastic project. So these are the words of the Gaelic. I'm hoping there's no big words in it, so if there are, apologies. I might make a mistake. So I suppose it's a great honour to be at the launch of the Frances Browne Storytellers See and Beyond site as part of the Frances Browne Literary Festival. Donegal County Council is committed to supporting culture and creativity across our county, and that commitment is made in our Culture Division strategy at Culture Lecala. The Frances Browne Festival is a shining example of that commitment in action. Since its establishment, Donegal County Council has been proud to stand behind the festival and see it grow from strength to strength. As a council, we are also tasked with delivering the Creative Communities pillar of the Creative Ireland programme. And Creative Ireland, as Dahi has alluded to, is an all-government culture and wellbeing programme that works to ensure that everyone in our community has the opportunity to realise their full creative potential. And as a local authority, we are well placed to deliver on this pillar due to the extent of our reach across the county and into the heart of communities. I'm delighted to hear this anthology was funded through the Creative Ireland programme. Our library service has also played a central role in keeping Frances Browne's legacy alive. There is now a dedicated Frances Browne collection housed in our Central Library Local Studies collection and available digitally online through the library website, ensuring her works are preserved for future generations. And here in Twin Towns, you'll see the beautiful sensory wall, which is based around Granny's wonderful chair. These initiatives, alongside exhibitions and community projects, help advance awareness of Frances Browne as one of Donegal's most remarkable cultural figures. This anthology is particularly meaningful because it advances one of the Council's core aims, and that is inclusion. By creating an opportunity for blind and vision-impaired writers to share their words, we are not only paying tribute to Frances Browne's own story, but also ensuring that today's diverse voices are heard and celebrated. It is a project that reflects the Council's belief that culture belongs to everyone. Accessibility has been at the heart of this project from the beginning, and this anthology is now available in large print, in Braille, and online as Sinead has outlined on the Culture Division website, where it can be read with a screen reader. This ensures that collection can be enjoyed as widely as possible in the true spirit of inclusivity. Importantly, the festival also brings real benefit to the wider community. Each October, it attracts visitors from across Ireland and further afield, showcasing East Donegal as a place of creativity, culture, and welcome. Festivals like this remind us that investment in culture is also an investment in people, in tourism, and the future prosperity of our region. I'd like to commend the Frances Browne Literary Festival Committee, Donegal Culture Division, Creative Ireland, Vision Ireland, and all the contributors who made this anthology possible. Most of all, I want to congratulate the writers whose work fill these pages. Their creativity and imagination carry forward the spirit of Frances Browne in a powerful and fitting way. Frances Browne Storytellers See and Beyond site is an anthology that reaches many readers, both here, at home, and abroad. And may the Frances Browne Literary Festival continue to grow as a beacon of culture and creativity in Donegal. Gorma go.
Thanks so much, Donna. So that is it now. That's our anthology officially launched. We're delighted to have you all. I hope you really do take the time to read one of the anthologies, either online or on the books here in the library, because it really is worthwhile. I say, I think in the online version, get a cup of tea, sit down and have a laugh, have a cry, just think about life, because that's exactly when I went through the submissions that came in through Isla, that's how I felt. Some of them made me laugh, some of them made me kind of cry, and some of them made me really think about life, but they really were worth reading. So I do hope you take the time to read Frances Browne Storytellers, because they are there for a reason. Frances Browne, we want to celebrate her. We want to celebrate writers of today, and that's what we do with the anthology. So listen, thank you very much for coming today. I really appreciate that. I hope some of the writers here was safe so we can take some photos and celebrate you properly. And for the rest of you, there's tea and coffee, sandwiches, help yourself. So thank you very, very much.